Okay, let's see this question. We want to simplify these radical expressions. Let's just observe first. So the numerator, we don't have much to do. Right? We have 100 radical 3. The denominator, we have two factors. We have radical 2, radical 3, radical 5. And on this side, we have radical 2 times radical 2, so radical 2 squared. We have radical 6, which is radical 2. Let me actually write this. So radical 2, so 2 is radical 2 squared, because we want to make relations out of those irrational numbers. Radical 6, we can think as radical 2, excuse me, times radical 3. And radical 10, we can think as radical 2 times radical 5. Okay, do you see the relations? If I factor out radical 2 from here, right? So I will have radical 2 plus radical 3 plus radical 5. Great. All right, now we can make a relation with this. So here, if I treat these two terms as one term, I have this one term minus radical 5. I have this plus radical 5. I can use the difference of two squares. So in that case, my denominator is the square root 2 of square root 2 plus square root 3 squared minus square root 2 square root 5 squared. Right? That's my denominator. Then these two squared, that's just a 2. So first one squared, radical 2 squared is a 2, radical 3 squared is a 3. The middle term is 2 times radical 2 times radical 3. The minus radical 5 squared is a 5. And of course, we have this radical 2 outside. Then 2 plus 3, that's 5. 5 minus 5, that's gone. So we're left with radical 2 times radical 2, that's 2. 2 times 2, that's 4. So simplify to be 4 radical 3. Okay, so actually this one is simple, right? So 100 radical 3 divided by 4 radical 3. Those two cancel. So 100 divided by 4, that's just 25. All right, and also, I think I have added them out too. Let me. Right. So for the second factors in the denominator, we factor out radical 2. Then 2 becomes radical 2 inside. Radical 6, because radical 2 is already factored out, left with radical 3. Radical 10, now factor out radical 2, has radical 5 left. Now we see radical 2 plus radical 3 minus radical 5. Radical 2 plus radical 3 plus radical 5. We use the difference of two squares by treating radical 2 plus radical 3 as one term. So we get difference of two squares. So radical 2 plus radical 3 squared minus radical 5 squared. Then perfect squares. So get the first one squared, radical 2 squared is 2. Radical 3 squared is 3. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 minus radical 5 squared is 5. 5 minus 5 becomes 0. So we have radical 2 times 2 times radical 3 times radical 2. But radical 2 times radical 2 is 2. So 2 times 2 is 4. Radical 2 squared, radical 2 times radical 2 and radical 2 squared, which is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 radical 3. Radical 3 divided by radical 3 is 1. 100 divided by 4, which is 25. It looks like very complicated, right? But once you're hands-on, you see it's not.